There we go. Right, good weekend for the country, except for the weather. Having said that, London, looking at London, they seem to have got away with it, weather-wise. And a few days ago, it was the south of London that was going to get all the gump. And here I do. Ben's down London, and he done a bit in Covent Garden as well. This is what was happening in and around Covent Garden, which I've been dishing out for a couple of weeks. And he's still managed to get on page 3. He's had a good life. Corby getting on page 3. Still doing his bit. Right, top of the garden during the week. This was where I got my running beans up the edge here. And I saw this chap down here, longest worm I've ever seen. This is one of Jeffrey's from Ostend. He went straight in the compost bin. Right, this was last year's Zoomers. That's our show, obviously. Things change every year. Things change. Times change. Meaning, if you can do it, if we can meet up this year for our show, then do it. Because we may not be here next year. A couple of Zoomers who weren't on that photo. We've got Paul, Lynn, these are inputters. Dave, who comes down, he does our judging. He didn't last year. We had a break. But he comes down with his mate and they judge our veg for us. Barry Gilthorpe he comes down with. So we shall see him again. 2 new ones we're getting this year so far. Jeffrey from Ostend. We've got John Murphy from Taunton. So looking forward to that. That's where our show is, Craig Town Football Club. That's where people stay over for B&B. It's only 9 minutes away in Uber. Small print as with everything else. It's going to cost you 92 quid. I know it's a lot of money. People got to cut back on everything, but if you don't do it, do it. Because there's only 3 main members now in the gardening club committee doing everything, and we're struggling. Any road up, we're going to do what we can do. This is Jerry Edwards, our fruit specialist. He was down at Chelsea Flower Show. And I've nicked these photos what he bunged on his own private post. He's got it, but he's like our smoke, he gets everywhere. Jerry, am you on or not? Don't sound like it. It's just like I put a few photos on, hoping he'd talk through them. But yeah. So I'm just going to show the photos. There's all some nice displays on. Those birds of paradise, ain't they? Look like it. Mine's still waiting to come through. I think Keith Hine told me when I had mine for a middle 4 years ago. That took 5 years to flower. So next year with a bit of luck. Some nice displays. I don't know what the arrangements were. Or I'm just showing off the varieties. Alliums and all, when they go to seed, always a nice display. Nice bit of colour higher up. And then he was doing his Q&A bit on his stand. Good man, Jerry. Now we're getting into the fruit season as well. I'll ask him for a write-up what we should be doing with soft fruit and stone fruit. I'll see if we can bung something on for next week. Right, getting me solar panel out and my largest fan. That is now set up in my tunnel. So that's ideal. I'm topping my water butt. I mean, it's going to get the sun. Sun comes up there, goes down here. So when the sun is out, which it ain't been out today, then I've got it all day, and that is whizzing around like a So I've got air circulation in there, which is what I want. Delphiniums, these are open now. But I'm just staking everything, which is a good job I did, because the amount of rain we had last night, it woke me up about 2 this morning, and it was going on for about 3 hours, and it stopped about just before dinner. And that's obviously, there's my stakes ready to tie them up. Here's the one tied up, and then I'll screw up to the others, because when these get wet and they float them open, the weight on them, have a chance of them snapping off. Well, my next door neighbour went away for 5 days during the week, so this is looking from his garden onto mine. So we got a few photos of my setup, which we ain't seen before. I'm just reaching over the fence while I'm doing his waiting in his greenhouse. So there's, luckily for him, because he's a good lad, good neighbour, leading. I talked him into just having the old, well, there was nothing there. That's a plastic mesh I put up. I said, do you mind not having the panels in there, so I can get the sun on the afternoon as well in the greenhouse and on these two? Luckily he says yes, because he's a good egg. There's Pet reading the paper on the cuppa, and the hound will be there somewhere. Right, this is looking, go back on that one. This is looking at his back garden. He's a veg one and all. He does well. I think he's 81, I think. But he still thinks he's fit like me, but he's very unsteady on his feet. But if you dare do his garden, he can run himself, like most of us. But looking at his veg here, he asked me what this was for, he liked it. And I've seen quite a few photos of people on site, and they having the same thing. He's never had this before on any of his brassicas. It's as though the ends start curling up with the purple. And on the other ones, that one when I first saw it, I thought it was flea beetle, but there's no sign in them on. Because you can hear them scatter when they leg it, but he's never had it on these either. There's a few people got it, whether it's airborne, don't know. Broad beans, he always does well with them, and as soon as they get 2.5 foot high, he just pinches out, keep the black fly away, and it works. Because you never get beans off the top third of the plant anyway, so you just pinch them out. But he likes his veg, he's a good lad. Right, scented freesias. Time for these to go out. Going out my raised bed. There's quite a bit I've got scented this year. Next year, when I get if there's any extras I'm getting, I should go for scented every time. That's obviously if they do them. So a nice old same size as the pot, which I bugged into one in there, as you can see. Good roots around it. See where it's gone through the paper, which I put on the bottom of the pot, stop the compost coming out of the holes. Pushed him in, and I've firmed him in from the sides. Push that down slightly, but it's more so pushing the growing medium around that plant itself to firm it in, not too much pushing down. Then I'll just take the canes out and give him a good watering. And I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4 lots I put in all. And these are just flowering now, so by next week they should be open. Right, if I remember a couple of weeks ago, this started splitting in or opening up. The wood's supposed to expand. Plastic wood I put in, what it was called. It's supposed to expand and contract. No, it doesn't. I had a bloody great hole again. But it's the last time I'm doing it. If it happens again, I should just leave it. So that's been rubbed down again and walloped. Right, iron. One of the main trace elements. I found this in the shed, forgot I got it. But this is one of the things that They'll stop your leaves up, whatever the plant is, going yellow. Obviously, they're missing something. So I'll give me blackberries and drink of that. And the old leaves and new leaves. Nice. Green. Right, we had to have rain for a while. I know, luckily I've got a rainwater, then tap water. People are on a few sites and they've got no water whatsoever on site. They have to bring it in and catch the rainwater if there's no rain. Like Dave mate Chesterfield, he has a pain in the ass when it don't rain. These are one of John Murphy when he went down, stopped at his place. When I get a talk down Plymouth, he gave me a few of these Rockwall. Never tried them before. I'll give them one pack to Paul and one to Mark for them to try as well. So we'll see how they go. But I shall be using them this year. Right, more fresh veg for tea. Cheers, Keith. Good man. Rosie loves a veg and all. Right, getting the taters out. These were out for a little Charlotte, obviously, because you can see it there. Only 62 pence a bag. Little chaps. But we hadn't had taters for 2 weeks, different meals. And the bag that was on the bottom, obviously the oldest bag, started bloody spurting. That's the ones we had for tea. So them lot, I thought I ain't going to waste you. So I mixed some clover with me vermiculite. Got some 1 litre pots, drainage holes in the bottom. Bung a bit of compost halfway up and just bung the tater in. That's done these lot. These will be going down now, bring them by next Thursday. Good watering, cold end of the greenhouse. And the taters just were good. There's me veg I just picked. Thick gravy. Black pepper. Speaker time. Rowley from Milton Keynes. You ready, Rowley?
I'm now turning the mic on, yeah.
Good man. I ain't had time to put your new photo on. I'll put that on next week or...
Oh, well, no worries. I thought I couldn't make my mind up what one you'd got. I thought it was that one from when you was done at Bedford, like, you know.
Yeah. Okay, mate, all yours.
But anyhow, what I've done, because Mick was asking us to put something on to fill the hours up. This is how I've gone about recycling compost, whether people are interested or not. But basically, I've made up 700 litres of recycled compost, made up from the coir that the weed growers fly tip down our way. I picked up 32 40 litre bags a few weeks back, so that gives me over a cubic metre once I've performed with it. And I add that to recycled, peat-based compost. I do a couple of things a year for the gardening club. We give potatoes out to the local schools, and they do a weigh-in. There's a competition in a couple of villages away that run a potato race where all the idiots put a 56 kilo bag of potatoes on their shoulder and run from one pub to the other to see who can do it the fastest. And we do the weigh-in for the kids there, and we supply the kids with the potatoes and the compost. And I take my trailer over with a sieve on it and shake it all through, which means I come back with a trailer full of compost from there. And our local show, we do one of the classes, 12A, is who can grow the biggest volume of potatoes weight-wise from all the same potato. And we do the same again. So I sort of accumulate all this spent compost, if you like, that's gone with potatoes, and mix the two together with a few other odds and sods. And this is how I do it anyway. So I don't know why you started on that picture. I don't know. Anyhow, can you go on to the next one? Right, this is where it should have been. I don't know how that one got in, but never mind. Basically, this is how the weed growers out our way anyway, dump it. So you not only get the compost, you get the decent bags as well that have only been used once. And I fill them with compost and grow potatoes in them as well. Number 2, if I could, Mick, please. Right, this is started life as an ordinary Bell 1.5 bag cement mixer that I cut the damaged end off of and pressed it, well, cut the bottom out of a 45-gallon barrel as well. Dropped the JCB bucket on it to push it inside one another, and I made myself a giant mixer, which is what I do all the compost in. So I just empty them bags of coir into there, and that beats it up to shape. When that's done, and that's where number 5 should have come in. That's done, and there it is, breaking it down. Right, and next one, if you can, Mick, please. Next one. And that's how it comes out of my cement mixer, ready to go into the next one, which is, they're all out of order somehow, Mick, on your program. It should have been that one now.
Bugger.
I'll talk it as the pictures come anyway. That's the finished article. As you can see, I've got 700 litres of compost there. So on to the next one, if you could, Mick, please. That one. I'm looking up there. The pictures are all out of order somehow. That's the fully prepared, finished stuff. There. Next one, Mick, please. And that one is that is the compost that I've got from these potato escapades. That is now 24 months old, and it's all been sieved, ready to be mixed with the coir and various other bits and pieces. Next one, if you can, Mick, please. That one, that's the worm cast that I put in it as well. That's the inside. I made one of my wormer is made up from a chest freezer that I put a fancy drainage bottom system into it. And I take it out of there, put it through a rotary sieve before I then, whatever percentages, I add it to the other compost. So can you do the next one, Mick, please? Yeah, no, that one, that's everything. Because I use biochar, as you know, with everything. So the biochar, the compost and everything has been through the shredder, and that's the finished result of it there. Next one, Mick, please. That one is, like I say, somehow we managed to get the pictures out of sequence, basically. But that picture there is the worm casts and the biochar mixed at 50-50, and whatever I do so that I know what I've put where, the mix that I use and call my biochar is the char 50-50 with the worm casts. Okay, next one, Mick, if you could, please. Oh, that's me, so I don't know. I don't know that, and try again, and that next one. Is there any more left?
No.
That's yours. Well, sadly, I've mixed it up, or Mick has, but they've come through not quite in the order I was actually doing it. But you can see basically what I do: put it through my mixer, break it all up, and it all goes back eventually. It goes through the first picture, which was the rotary sieve that I throw everything through, as well as, and then it goes back into the compost mixer, turns it around, and basically it's got weed growers coil, my homemade compost that I make as well, spent compost, the homemade biochar, and the fertilizers I throw in there is fish blood and bone, chicken manure pellets with Epsom salts. The homemade compost that I make, I've got a 4-chamber compost thing made out of galvanized tin, of which it's all really done the same. When I start the heap off, I put wood chips in the bottom, then it has lawnmower cuttings on it, then spent horse muck, or aged horse muck, I'll say, it's about 3 and 4 years old now. Then it gets another layer of grass cuttings, wood chip, grass cuttings, stable manure, and so forth till it's filled up. It then has big slabs of 8-inch insulation put on the top, and I've got guillotine boards down the front. All the sides are insulated, so it makes it, and it warms up like it's a hot composter and cooks that. When that's done, and they're ready to mow the lawn again, we throw it out of one into the second one and then refill. And then, of course, when the first one's filled, 2 goes into 3, 1 goes into 2, and so forth. And then, like I say, when it's all finished and it's pretty good stuff, that then goes through what was the first picture, my rotary sieve, to be my homemade compost to add with all the other bits and pieces, and how I ended up with 700 litres.
Brilliant.
You know, so and it's a continual progress because I've got probably half a cubic metre of coil sits up there now, still in the bags, ready to go through. Plenty of everything, and like I say, because I run the worm things all the while, wormeries all the while, I've always got worm casts coming through to add to all my compost. You know, the last thing that I've done this week, in actual fact, which maybe I can get some advice from you all on, is I wanted to start up another wormery, it'd be a fourth one, and watching some Australian fella on YouTube, and he was just filling a bath up with basic fresh compost, fresh horse shit and cow shit really, and letting it go, and the worms eventually got in it. So down the road there's one of these stables that give it away that's already bagged, so I went down there, ended up with 7 bags in the back of my car, filled this bath up in layers, and then put a couple 3 bagfuls in, cardboard, another 3 bagfuls, filled it right up so the bath's full, give it a good water in, right? And of course the water runs out at the bottom, which I've decided to save as liquid horse muck. Now I don't know whether that's back over to Mick then. What that would be best being used for?
I'll dish them out on me when I go to talks. It's one of my raffle prizes, a bottle of liquid osmuck, and I use one in the greenhouse. There used to be one in the tunnel on every plot. But in me bucket of greenhouse temperature rainwater, once a week I put a cup full into a bucket and feed everything in the greenhouse.
Yeah, I mean, I've got so far now probably about 25 gallons of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'll put it through, and what I've also done, when it runs out into the bottom, into about a 4 or 5 gallon bucket, I'll pick it up and throw it back in the top as well, put it through a second time.
Yeah.
So it is quite brown, and obviously I've because we worry about this chemical that some of these unscrupulous sprayers put on the grass and everything, I've tested this liquid by putting it through. I've got some ground beans growing in a rain gutter system, and I've poured it into there, and it's not affected the beans. And then I've got 10 tomatoes or tomato plants growing in another greenhouse, and I've watered them with it, and there's been no damage to the leaves on either, so I'm assuming it's nice clean liquid I want to use it.
We had that about 10 years ago in the Midlands, where somebody, I think that was West Brom, somebody had a delivery of muck off his normal bloke, and in fact it's what everybody used on the site. Then all of a sudden everything started killing over, and they looked into it, and it, as you say, it was the crap they were spraying with. But now I think all the sprayers have clicked on, and they know they've got to get rid of the muck at the end, and people won't have it if it's contaminated, and we ain't had that problem since.
Well, luckily, the local people around us that buy the hay,
yeah.
I've got a nephew with his own little contracting business, and Henry sells hay supplies the hay to all of them, and of course I know full well that he has none of it, none of that sprayed on and he's fully aware what it is. but of course you can't guarantee the straw, can you? Although they do tend to spray it more on grass than straw, so or corn. So, but yes, and then I just thought, like you say, as far as I'm concerned, I'm using it 10 to 1 or 20 to 1, depends what you're going to put it on.
Yeah. But if you're going to load it, I mean, twice a week, water everything.
Yeah, water. What I done the actual the 86 greenhouse with the 10 tomato plants in. That's on a timed dripper system for watering as such, and I put about 5 gallons in that because I tried it and it never killed them. Yeah. Rather than messing about, I went up with a bucket. In you go. And I'll put an air bubbler in there to keep it stirred up so it don't settle out. Yeah. And that's run for 3 or 4 days now with that in it, and nothing's died back. So hopefully all is all. So, yeah. There you are. That's my input on my recycled compost, and hopefully when I get the next thing that I'm doing about all my automatic watering systems is one of them for this. I'll send it over to Mick and see what he thinks, whether it's good enough to show to everybody else.
It will be. When I've sorted the photos out, I'll send them back to you.
No, don't worry. I've got all the photos myself. It's no problem. And when you put them in a folder, if you sorted them as sending, they would have been in the right order. That's
where I put them. I thought, well, I had. I know I had.
Some more, because that's why I number them. All the photographs and things I send, they're all numbered. One fly tip coir, 2 compost mixer, 3 coir breakdown. But it just never worked. Never mind.
It's my system. Listen, or on.
We got through it.
Questions for Rowley while we got him?
Yeah,
use your compost yourself, or do you dish it out as well?
Sorry, I got 2 people talking over one another.
You must have loads of compost. Do you use it all yourself, or do you dish it out to mates?
No. Basically, the where I do our growing down on the small holding, basically it was a whole farm until the father-in-law died, and we sold half the farm and split the remainder into 3 small holdings. And the sister-in-law and myself do some between us. So whatever I do, she helps herself to, basically. But I don't sell it, or I give some to the next door neighbour. I gave him tomato plants or something last year, and all potted up, ready to go. I gave the first show, because we try to encourage the children a lot with the gardening society.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'd done is done some tomato plants in the flower tubs, the 12-litre flower tubs from Morrison's and wherever, right? And gave them to the children. So all them that turned up at the show got a potted tomato plant. All you got to do is go ahead and grow it. And I forget what name it was, but it's a bush tomato that don't need the side shoots picking out. So the kids, Montello or something, so the kids can just get on and grow them, can't they? We're not, and they get results. And but I don't know. Well, I haven't offered it to anybody, in honesty. I'm at the moment where I am. This last mix with them blue barrels, where there's 700 litres there. I've got a dozen bags of various potatoes growing in them, and in this mix, and I've got a thing I've put on the other side of a greenhouse that on the gutter watering system, where I've got 3 half 200 litre barrels. So there's 3 100 litre barrels. Almost makes it like a water-fed raised bed, and I'm going to fill that up with the next couple of days. So I've got some overdue peppers that should be planted out, and I'll bang another couple of cucumbers up at the end of it, But I tend to do like crazy things where I play with the watering, because if you've got so many greenhouses and they go through water, you can never water them at the right time. So I've got like wicking systems or pots. Well, they're all wicking systems really, all that drip feed in that one. So I've got 22 tomato plants in one greenhouse, 12 cucumber plants in another, this other 10, and one with this pongo beans and the we'll have the peppers in again this year. And I just, go around. Other things that I do for my automatic watering, which are ruining my next presentation now, is by using soaker hoses and piping them in, But that's okay for me because I've got an endless supply of spring water from the top of the farm. So it's basically just like turning a tap on. So I have no problem with that. All I don't get down there is electricity unless I run a generator. Okay, everybody. Sorry, Colin, what was...
I'm just saying the herbicide that the farmers use for the hay, I think it's been banned, haven't they been banned from using it?
Well, I can't pronounce it. It's anthropoloid or something.
Something like that, yeah. Unpronounceable name, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I believe you can still buy. Oh dear. I've an actual fact, I've got about a litre of it down the farm now. Graze on, right, which they used to just walk around with a backpack sprayer and do the odd patches of nettles and all that. I'm pretty certain that's still available. Whether mine that I've got there, that pot's probably 7 or 8 years old now. But we haven't used it because I found out what it contains. I mean, it was, when it was all about, that I read the label on the back to see what it did have in it, But I know graze on is...
We had some bad muck in this area, like Mick said, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But the stuff that we're getting now, it's all clean. I still do test it, obviously, but I haven't had any problems with dodgy muck coming in for the last 4 years at least.
The trouble is, the farm next to us down there, he's got 500 acres, and he's been took ill. Poor bloke, got bloody Alzheimer's now. A young onset, because he's younger than me. He's in his late 50s, I think. And of course, all they've done is got contractors doing it. And of course, I hate contractors really, because I blame them for spreading all sorts of crap, because they go from one farm to another without washing the vehicles down. So they, like we haven't got no mare's tail or nothing down on our bit, but as you ride down and see down the lanes, you can see it coming towards us, and I totally blame the contractors for that. Whether it be the combine harvester bloke that goes round, and of course we also have up in the village where I live in Woburn, the Bedford Estates is massive farms all the way around. And of course, they have visiting contractors, don't they, for ploughing and setting, and they go from one farm to the next, to the next, to the next, dragging all the crap and the stuff with them. So you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, always best to test everything that comes onto your plot, I think.
Yeah, well, that's why initially with this liquid horse muck, before I used it, I tried, because it's supposed to affect beans and tomatoes. You can tell by the top leaves on the tomato plants, can't you? Right, the same as your canines. So my logic was, give them a bloody good watering can for it pretty strong, and if they live, it's okay, and if they die, you got to get rid of it, don't you?
Yeah,
that's fair enough. Yeah.
Before you use it on the rest of your stuff.
Yeah.
Trial and error. Oh,
well, live or die with my bit.
Any more questions for Rowley while we got him?
No, well, thanks for putting up with me then.
Good, man.
Cheers,
Rowley.
Cheers.
I'll get ready, mate.
Thanks, Riley. That was fascinating. Really interesting.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah,
Right,
thanks.
people. Back garden. This is looking from where my strawberry patches in my raised beds, in between the two houses, out at the front. And I saw this there. I thought a pigeon had crapped on the side of me. I thought I'd get that off, it's dry. No, it weren't. I got a bit closer. Even closer still. Now these are out of order, Rowley. Now these are put in order.
Yeah.
These are out of bloody order as well. But I got right in close.
Oh, they're spiders. Yeah.
That was a bit of to get that close, and I've tried to get closer still on something else with a delphinium. There was a bee in the middle of a delphinium flower. I'm trying to get closer by that and come out bloody bird. But I thought that was a good photo. So I left them alone. They cuddled together again. Right, Gladys, sorting these out. I've just kept the strongest shoot nearest the centre and took all the other corms, shoots out I don't want. Right, I think there's 2 more to go in there. That's where the rows go in, the labels, where they. So I've got to empty or prepare another bed. So I'm taking the cover off this one. The top dress then you have, which was a rabbit book. I'm just collecting that and putting it back in there because I'll be using that again later. Right, this trial I'm doing here. Where am I? Andy mentioned, I think it was on the last Zoom, that when he puts his gladdies out, because I only put the vermiculite underneath them, but Andy said he puts it on top as well as underneath. So just on this bed, I'm going to trial it with the top and bottom, as we can see there. So we'll see how we go with that one. So that's that one done. So I've got to prepare another one. And you'll see where it's dropped down already. So I've prepared a dry and medium mixture ready for when I do take this top off. Exactly the same again. Take the straw off. Add me, empty my bag. Still ain't enough. So I'm going to top dress it with my own compost. Take the door off the front. Bung a good dollop on. There was quite a few worms still in there. Well, I took a load out to throw it back in the compost heap again. Still needed some more on, so I top dressed again. Right, now he ain't fair off the top, so he'll do. Drop more multi-purpose compost mixed with vermiculite, just to look after them, stop me worms from drying out. Spread that out, get a good watering, and get my labels ready for planting out on that one. And basically just working my way down. So that's my 4th raised bed. Once they are prepared, they'll have a good watering, and then my next lot of corms will come out. So I've got Cream Perfection, Dependent, Princess Margaret, Yellow Good Inner, Kilrock, Jury Russian, and then 2 others. Let's job them ready. Also, I'm planting the gladdies on the back end. So the house is down this way, so there'll be some at the back and on the sides. I'm planting gladdies in there as well, because I'm running out of space. I do know toms this year, there's only me and the missus. So gladdies are going in there as well. So that lot is coming out. I'm going to clean that bottom off, and the stuff I took off there and that will go on there once I've cleaned it. There it is, nice and clean, and that is going on the top of that, which is there. Now all the bags have gone back in there. This was prepared last year, watered and covered as it is there. So this was October last year, so this ain't been touched since October. Straw as well. So it seems quite a bit of broken down or been taken in. And just going down hand fork depth, I've still got lumps, meaning it's not dust. There's still a slight moisture in there, which is perfect for me. So 2 roller gladdies. Don't forget this will come off when it needs be, exactly the same as when I used to put my toms in. As soon as they got close to that, I'll take that top shelf off. So the gladdies going in there as well. So the first 2 have gone in. These are the first 2 trays. Outside the patio doors, I can see these are coming up now. And these are about 8 to a foot high now, some of these. There's my cormlets, which I started off earlier on. And they went outside, they're putting a bit of meat on now. Still a few misses in there, but at least I got 1 out of whatever. This is the tulips that have died off, so I'm now ready to cut off. Obviously the bulb's still in there, but I'm just cutting them. I'm just deadheading them, that's all. Right, tunnel back of the garden. Also on the front, and where I got space behind, then I should put some gladioli in there as well. So I've got them growing undercover and outside, and obviously I've got the name and the date. So we'll see how they go. Don't forget, it's still staggered weekly, so we'll see what it does next year. I think I've got a 10 down there, and there's 10 down there as well. There's 2 more I've got to put in next week. And that total will be full. Right. There's 2 gone in there, so next lot I'll do in there, which I have done, because this is my next bed I'm using over here, and you can see how that's dropped as well, same as all of them. And I'll nick some of the compost out of there to fill that up, and I'm going to need some more in to fill that one up. So I've took the straw off, started getting me compost out of there. Perfect. More gladioli to go in there. Right, my rainwater tub at the top of the garden. When I put this in, that is ideal there. Obviously, I hold the bucket and it wedges on there. But I thought, well, if I get a house brick, let's have a look at the measurement. And the house brick is a perfect site for my bucket to go on there. So that's where I bunged it. When I finish, that brick fits perfectly in there. Something else I've found. Right, shallots, measuring them, splitting them. These are the pickling shallots, 30mm they go up to. So there's my 30mm mark, that's all I need. If I just under, then they're coming out. I'm putting them back to dry off. Now I did these earlier on, thinning them, so I've got another lot now drying off. Here's another one rolling out of sequence. God knows what's happening. Right, speaker time. Our bonsai expert, Ray, you ready for us, mate? I hope he is. Ray, you with us? Ray from Accrington. He's still from Accrington, whether he's with us or not. Right, he bunged these 4 on earlier on. That's, I should say, how it looks like now. That's how it was earlier on.
He's not on mic.
Nah, he just said something by now. But just started coming to life now that it's bonsais. That's what it said anyway. Ray, thank you for that, sir.
How old's that one with the thick trunk, Mick? Did you say?
I was expecting to be on.
That one.
No, I should say it's going to be a few year old.
It has, isn't it?
Thickness of that.
Amazing. Amazing.
Corkers. I used to lose too many. I started enjoying doing them. Right, this has had a bit battering over the years, but I've nearly finished that now. And I'm also growing big gladioli in there. That's a lot of good in there. But I ain't got room to put these on this week, so they'll be on next week. Right, let's escape that so I can get onto my wheel. There we are. Anybody tried any oscop tonight?
No.
Whoa. Ah!
Oh, Essex Gill.
Yeah, if you want to spin it again, you can do, Mick. Because I've had 2 wins already.
I don't know how you do it. Right, full screen. let's get going. Went down and saw Mark during the week, and these just called us over. So I've heard of me runners, and someone was turning these crap at the bottom as well. I says, well, the best thing you can do, because there's no aphids on anything, just take all the crap off, and the new growth, which looks good, just let that carry on. Then you got no grub from the plant itself going into these, which ain't going to do any good. And so far, I think he's got away with it. And first time he started skinning his gladioli this year, he said it was somewhat new for him, a challenge, and he'd done it. It's somewhat different age. Plus he got his stems in the middle, so he took all the other new chaps out as well. Took a load of timber to saw up. We did some again yesterday. I chopped some more up. And while I was down there, this is a new wench on site. Joanne, coming out some stuff from the sheds. But her's keen. I'm just coming to our bring and buy next Thursday, which is what we want. And while I was there, I got me 3 grow bags for the greenhouse, obviously, for me peppers. And that'll be on this week and all. I ain't got time to bog them on this week. Right, extra long canes are going in to be 8-ounce onions. So the wires come off last time when these were in. Now the last cane's going in just to keep them nice and upright. Plus there's an extra ring on the top to help them out. That done. Right, this is all the last lot of pickled shallots which I got up. You'll see some are too small there, whatever, but for exhibition. And I'll mark them down. Now them are 30mm or just under. So them will do so far. There's still a few growing, don't forget. So these will be pickling. So them are sorted out and put down the back again. As we can see there. Runners have reached the first 2 runs that we're in. They've reached the top of the canes. The next door neighbour, who's had more protection around he's got flowers on now. But you'll see this is afternoon and they get the last of the sun, which is perfect on there. Hello Rosie. Talk of the devil has just walked in, and there he is with a mate piglet.
I'm all out to sink here. Is anyone else?
No?
I'm just seeing the shallots now that was Mick talked about 5 minutes previously.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What you got up now?
Picture of Dave, is it, with the Guinness?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh right, might be back on now.
Have you paid your rates down there, Colin?
I don't know what happened then.
Won't be all my bloody end. Dave, you're going to talk through your gum.
Yeah, I can do, Mick. I didn't know what we're talking through them, but I can do. These are my blanch leeks. These are well sealed. I think these photographs took a couple of weeks ago, but they're coming on well. That's just what I took the covers off them. Well, mate. And these are the same. And again, mate, I say I'm pretty pleased with them up to now. They're looking tidy. Right, mate.
You'll see where the blanch goes to there, look.
Yeah, I've 18-inch blanch on them. Yeah. They're my pot leeks. They're Cumbrians. And they're coming on well. Quite pleased with them this year.
Looking nice and tight there.
Yeah, they look well. Quite pleased with them.
What size buckets are they, Dave, with your pot leeks?
30 litre.
30 litre, yeah.
Yeah. I've grown them. I've got a row on the right-hand side of that picture. They're in a bed. But I find it's easier now for me growing in pots. I struggle getting down on my knees now. But I'm pleased with them, they're growing well. Right, mate. These are my onions. There again. I used to grow them in bed, but now they're in 30-litre pots as well. And they're looking tidy.
Do you think it makes a lot of difference from beds to pots for the onions?
Me myself, over the years, I personally prefer growing them in bed. But same as my tomatoes, I like to grow them in bed rather than pots. But I say, because I struggle now a little bit, I do grow them in pots. And that's just my shade netting I've got from. That's a row of tomatoes. What we've got out, we're just starting to flower now. And on the right-hand side is a row of leeks, pot leeks, which are in a bed. But the ones I'm more interested in are the ones in the pots. Right, mate.
You ever thought about raising your beds a bit higher if you struggle with your knees?
Yeah, that's you can do that, but then it's in filling them all, isn't it? At the end of the day, you need quite a lot to keep filling beds. For what I am now, I'm quite happy just to carry on how I am at present, so I'm quite happy with that. That's the row of my sweet peas. They come to farm. Must have had about 7 or 8 bunches off them. There's now 2 rows of them, but they look tired as well. Them now, right, mate. My strawberries, I've got strawberries on now, and they're coming on nicely. I've had to cover them up now for birds coming in. I've had 1 or 2 right ones on them, and so I've covered them up. They're looking tidy. But there again, they're on the bench, so I'm working at waist high and picking, where I used to have them in the ground before. Right, mate. That's my potatoes through. I think last picture, so I just planted them out. But they're through now. They're coming on well. At the side of the tunnel, there are a row of peas, show perfection. And on the back side near the fence, there are 2 rows of dailies I've put in. And the TP, they're for the climbing French beans. And right at the back, the blue half barrels, that's where I grow my parsnip for Christmas. Right, mate. That's me brassica bed planted out now. I have a row of cabbage in the front, then my broccoli, and then my sprouts for Christmas. On the other side, right at the bottom on the other side, are the leeks, and then the onions top side coming up. Right,
on your brassicas, you cover those in June, will you?
Yeah, that's built up. That's netted all the way across. I can walk down there with them. Yeah, that's all covered. I've had that for a few years now, like that. They alternate the beds. Right, mate.
What a beautiful brassica bed.
Sorry?
A beautiful brassica bed. The brassica bed is lovely.
Oh, thank you. I think that's just a picture of onions again, which I think they could do it all right this year. They're not looking bad. Right, mate. And then again. Yeah. So I'm quite pleased with them. They're not doing too bad. That's it. Right, mate, thank you.
Cheers, Dave.
Yeah, Dave, nice setup. Wonderful stuff.
Very clean and tidy. What strain are your quality onions? I don't quite. I forget that.
Dave.
He's gone. He's muted.
We'll job him at the end if he's comes back. Sunny spells, showers and chilly nights. Yes, we know. That's what we've had in the Midlands. Pain in the arse. Once again, it's a bit black over Bill's mothers.
Why do they call it Bill's mothers, mate?
Aye?
Why do they call it Bill's mothers?
That's where he used to live over there.
Does it really? Alright, fair enough.
You should have got colleague saying that.
Is it? Never heard of it. I've heard people keep saying it, but
Little lass got me a screen.
Yeah.
In fact, I should have got the other one this morning.
Wilco's have got them as well.
So it looks a bit better than the old that crap looks there. But just that's double, that is. We'll just put it down single. There's too many gaps in it. But it looks better than just having the weeds are present up. Aquilegia. This is my favourite tall one. I'm saving seed from the tall and the small ones. But he's Austin colour and he's a good sized flower and all.
Something of Elliot, isn't it? The variety.
God knows.
Yeah.
I can only just remember Aquilegia. Right, last Sunday, this because there was no zoo. Pet's birthday. So we legged it out for dinner. Obviously, dinner's gonna take longer than go over tea time or whatever. But first I've been down Starbridge by the canal, the bonded warehouse. And exactly, there's quite a few boozers doing it now. They're dog friendly, indoor and outdoor. So we had the choice, first of all, we legged the outdoor, but it was a bit nippy and there's room inside. So we legged it in there. Reserved. Oh, we had 3. Starter, very rare, we have a starter. So like we go up and I don't need nothing. Wanted a bit more gravy on there.
Gravy.
Like I did. There's me on the jug. Boston. And there's the hound. Just throw her a couple of scraps. And there's happy as a dog on a little mat. Right, next day we had a committee meeting. We had to move from Grady Town because I got no barman. So he linked it down the chop house down Colligate. That's me going for a piddle. Obviously there's the chewing gum machine as you go in.
The what?
What?
Not chewing gum machine.
Just in case there's kids on.
Yeah, true.
But while I'm having a piddle, there's some old tiles on Cradley. That's the area where we live, or the booze. Cradley sausage words. Well, obviously these are old tiles. Little dry dock at Netherton. That's gone years ago. Little sauce factory. Not sure where that was. The law, Studley. Little tumbling sailor, Kidderminster. Not too far away either. Gotta be worth something now, these tiles. There's the troops. Finished the committee meeting, so I've just brought the cobs in. And that pint. And I have to walk them on because I'm drunk as a lord.
Hang on a bit.
Yes.
You had more than me.
Oh, but I have to.
I counted 7 points.
No, I'll be able to walk up to 7.
Yeah, it was.
Right, Mr. Lanham. Banksy's beer. Banksy's oil. I haven't seen it for years. I took advantage of it. Beautiful drink. Right, this chap's got to go out. This is a climber. Or we're making me do a climber. Well, I pinched out anyway. And he's going up my line prop. Well, that's where I want him to go. So that's where I'm going to persuade him to go. Right, me blue and white bells now all died off, as you can see here. Now's the time where I just pull them, the tops, they come straight out. Obviously the bulbs, so you see what I've started here. Working my way around. Looks a bit better already, and this now gives everything else time to breathe and starting to like the smaller things. Obviously these Australia I've got going already, and a few more. Plus it was bin men Thursday, green bin men last Thursday, so I'm going to fill that up. And that's just about got down to the end. This was Steve from Brum. Showed me his gladioli bed. These for cutting these. Probably another foot on top of these by now. Cheers for that, Steve. Wednesday night, I did a talk over, well, it was to Stonall Garden Guild. This is in Walsall. I think it's probably the 3rd time I've been there now. And that booked us up again because they like quite a few more clubs. It's hard now to get older speakers. This is I just parked the car up and looked opposite. If that was a bus shelter in Colligate, somebody'd nick it for a shed or live in it. So they've got to be posh around here. And that's brewing up. We've all got the flags and the hats on. All the committee got their hats on. That's Pam and bloody Loopy and me. We got them all together. There's still a few still undecided whether to come out or not because of the old ones and get it in the brain. But in the end, we had a good greenhouse cultivation sort they had. So they've jobbed me back for a year on the plot talk next year. Right, my straws. The cock up I made one cock up last year. When I had these, it's got to be October, November. When I had the plants, the straw plants, what I should have done was potted them up in the cold end of the greenhouse and not put them straight in the half baskets. Because they look as though I'm starting to put them dead as hell. So I want to clip my first one. Got my straws out, which I've got just in case these were all dead, which they am, good job I did. If they had survived, I'd have put more half baskets on the end of the wall, top of the garden, on the raised beds, where my shallots are now. So I could have still got away with them, or put these in florist buckets that I manged over. There's only one for our show. So I wedged that so he's standing up nice and level. Take the top off because he was like a crust. Break this lot up with a hand fork. Right, the new ones I'm going to plant out. All this old crap will be cut off with scissors. There he is. That looks better already. Right, because I want it to overhang, I will put him as close to the edge as I can. A bit of this is going to be on top, but I shall cover that up later on, as we'll see. Now I'm going to backfill with fresh compost. So I'm covering that as well. Then that first lot of straw is rubbed out by hand or two hands, and then put on top of there. Then it will go as a crust. It's easy. Good watering, and then I stand him up outside the pathway, up against the tunnel. He's near enough level, then I give it a good soaking again till he runs out the bottom well, and then do the next one. There's the old ones getting out, just added. Next one I've done, he'll get a good soaking as well. Then I'll go down the bottom and get another one up, put the first one back down till we keep going. As you see there, it's another crust again, just lift them off. So pull it back, I'll just break it up by hand again, as we've done there. I had one go, 11 out of 12 ain't bad. Now I've got drainage holes in the bottom of these, and I did have a look and he was way too long. So both holes must have been filled. But put them back on, obviously I want them level up again. As you can see, that end is lower than that end. This one is coming up a bit. So all I do is lift that, and I get a little stone off the path, as I've done there. I've just wedged him in, and that now has got him level. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and the odd 11. Give them a good soaking. An hour after these have been put up here. Get them established. No frost since, so they're doing alright. First hill for him just started opening up. This is where I try to get a close-up photo of a bumble. I couldn't get coming out blurred. Designed into phone photography. But them lot, the rain that we had last night woke me up about 2, 3, and it went on for a couple of hours. A really good dollop of rain. And these this morning are just about to snap over because of the weight of the rain on them. Although I tied the up at the base, I should have tied around the top there as well, which I will do from now on. otherwise it would have come unstuck. And there's Jeffrey's plant. He sent me a few years ago. He's just opening up as well. Thank you, Jeffrey. Pinks are opening up, and these are scented as well. Them are smelling good. Scented rose, and this is the most buds and flowers we've had on the chat. There's another Aquilegia at the top, but it's bright yellow in the middle, with yellow outside. It's a nice little chap and all. Right at the back of the rose, I noticed this chap here. Anybody recognise what them are? I don't know, them are small, like a small crescent. What do you call them?
An Arindium mix.
Is it family of what? Do you know?
Probably some sort of aster, I think, something like that.
Ah, yes. Yeah, God knows how he got in there. Because the rose is taller than him and he's hiding. He's a nice one. So when they die off, I should get some seed from them as well. Nigel, I shall forget that by the end of this talk. My memory's crap. But thank you for letting me know. Right, second feed for the garden this year. Grow more. General purpose. 777 NPK. So it's got a balanced feed. Everything gets it. I.e. when the sun goes off it. The sun's got off it. Raised bed as well. Liquid fish, give them a break from the liquid osmoc. So a couple of drops go in a full bucket of water, give them mixed up. The second lot of runner beans have come through, as you see here. I only need 2, so I'll separate them. 2 drinking cups, obviously. And these will go out next week. Right, everything's going to get a good watering, inside and out. It's been a while since we've had rain. Obviously, this before the downpour last night. So, got no choice, top water. That's me green goosegog. Red goosegog was up the side of me shallots. But everything gets a good soaking, and I mean a good soaking. I'll go down one side, the other side, beds, then I'll do this lot as well. Water butt, nearly emptied, and I've got an accumulation of worms again. That's from me standing by me water butt at the top of the garden, so that's looking back towards the house, obviously. So this is my shallot raised bed. So behind here, that's the first I can do. Middle raised bed. Colin.
All right.
Colin from Tamworth. Amazon kid. All yours, Colin. I hope these are in order.
I don't know how we'll get on with these because I was taken quite some time ago, but right, there's my new compost heap, and you can see I've hung the thermometer in and it's just coming up to really hot. So that's working. And that is the contents of the big compost heap that was emptied. The smaller one, that's usable compost now. I reckon I've got about cubic metre there, and it's good stuff. I lay it on the borders as is, or riddle it out and get all the little bits and pieces, but I'm growing some nice stuff in it, so I'm very pleased with it. And it's all produced all in one pile. I've got a 4-foot cubed area that I bung it all in and just let it rot down, and then empty it out certainly twice a year, if not 3, and get a load like that, and it does the garden very good. no additions to it at all, just as is.
Yeah, good man.
Colin, is
Hello?
it open? Is it open?
Yeah,
Or is it?
the next photograph, Sue,
He's on.
Yeah.
we'll show you. Look, that
Right,
is sort of almost 4 foot cubed, and I just bung everything in on top. There's no mixing. I just lay it out. When I say there's no mixing, I've sort of put cardboard in those grass clippings and some brown stuff. But there's no other ingredient goes in there apart from water. And the occasional, if you think about it, I might put the occasional handful of sulfate of ammonia, but I don't do that normally. But it just goes down and down and down. And sometimes when I load it up now, it can be sort of a foot, 18 inches high. And Jane will come and say, shall I put this in the green bin because I can't get it on the compost heap? I said, no, leave it for a couple of days. And sure enough, it goes down and then we get everything back on. So I don't like putting stuff in the green bin. Next one, Mick. That's my attempt at my carrot bed. That was, blimey, that's probably 6 weeks ago now. It's looking much better now. There's 3 container pallets collars pie filled with sib compost, most of it my own, and then the top 4 or 5 inches was I put clover multi-purpose on, and you'll see in a minute the results. There you go, that coming on. They're even better than that now. That was taken about 3 weeks ago, I think. But I've had I don't sow in position. I soak my seeds in a box like this and chip them, and when they've germinated, I just place each one, 2 in each individual station. So I get a bed with no gaps at all, which seems to work.
Colin, sorry to interrupt. When did you put them in?
What?
When did you actually sow the germinated seeds in the carrots?
When did I sow my carrots?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear, when was it? No, I'm going now. Probably March, early April.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Because my carrots have been in for ages and they're through, but
Yeah.
they're just so slow.
Well,
And they're nowhere near to the stage yours are. Nowhere near.
Try
Try
that.
that, yeah.
Put a little tea towel in the bottom. You know, a
because I've got
paper
loads
towel.
of gaps. I've got
Soak
loads of
it.
gaps where loads haven't come through.
Put your seeds on and then cover it with cling foil.
Yeah.
And just keep it to one side, and I'll find that
I'll try that. Like I did that with my parsnips to make sure they were germinated. Yeah. I'll try that.
Yeah, good.
Thanks.
There's my new raised beds, so I'm making the best use I can. They're not ideal because I think the paths I made the paths a little bit too narrow, but I'll have to stick along with it now. But everything's growing well. Right, I don't know if people are having trouble with lily beetles.
Always.
Yeah. Well, I've been recommended to try this. I don't know if anyone else uses it. I spray every week or every fortnight with this, and I'm only getting 1 or 2 beetles, so I'm not getting an infestation as such. So I think it might help reduce. Has anybody used that? Hello?
I ain't.
No.
Don't forget everybody's switched off.
All right. Well, they can still hear me. Yeah. Yeah. So you put 4 capfuls, which is 4 capfuls in the litre, and just spray, just drench your leaves, and it seems to deter them. Next one, Mick. And there you are, they're nice and clean. Touch, fingers crossed.
Mm.
If I go out tomorrow and know, there's me canner in my pots. Bear in mind, this was taken 2 or 3 weeks ago, so they've improved. They're growing. They put on a good spurt of growth. Now I'm looking forward to seeing these mature. It's the first time I've grown canners, so.
Okay.
Colin, that would be above your window, so when they're finished.
Eh?
I'll be above your window when they're finished.
Really?
Yeah, near. I'll be touching the window, so I reckon.
Might be in the wrong position then, but at the minute they look quite reasonable.
They look healthy.
Eh? Yeah.
Look healthy.
Right, last time I was on, I mentioned I was using the Humax new formulation multi-purpose compost with good results. I don't know if anybody's managed to try some themselves, but Mick asked me to show what it was like. There you are, 60 litres, enriched with recycled materials. Right, it's still got some peat in it, and a wetting agent. Carry on, Mick. The only problem with it is, there's all the bump. You can read that on when Mick puts it on YouTube. All the reasons for them changing the formulation, really.
I've used it, Colin.
What, this?
Yeah. No.
The new formula?
Yeah, I'm sure of it. I got some up the. There's a small nursery that's got it, and it's fine. I've had no problems with it at all.
I say I'm getting on really well with it. The only problem I've got is the fact that you'll see in a minute is out of the bag it's really lumpy, and you have to.
Yeah, I think that's just down to the. I just think that's down to the storing conditions. I think
it's compacted as they pack the pallets.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get the same with, if you buy quality compost, which I consider to be like Levington's M2, M3.
Yeah.
I just squish it about, chop it up, it's fine, and I mix a little bit of vermiculite with it.
Well, I find you have to go a little bit more with this to break it up. It really does get clumpy, and you have to sort of scrub it in my hands. But once that's done, you can see from this photo all the bits of wood bark and chip in it. And
M3 is exactly the same. They're poking it out a bit, and people say, they're cutting on cost. I don't believe that. I think the wood, the real thin pieces of wood are really good. There's lots of nitrogen in there.
Definitely, and as you come to use them and it gets wet, it starts getting getting a little bit of mould and fungus on them. And I'm sure it helps.
Yeah.
And there you are. That's straight out the bag. You see how lumpy it is. That's what I mean by when you have to get it in your hands and scrub it out. But carry on, Mick. And that's when that's how it is after it's been all loosened.
On that picture, Colin.
Yeah.
You've got a little bit of sort of middle left towards the bottom. You've got a little bit of fertilizer in there. Is that something you put in, or was it in the soil?
That was in the soil.
Oh, okay. They're not cutting all costs then.
No. There's not a lot of it in, but it was definitely, whether it's fertilizer or it might be
worm egg.
Some eggs, yeah.
It's too dry for worms.
Yeah, it's just yellow, isn't it? The worm eggs normally white, aren't they, Mick?
Yeah.
Yellow, see-through.
Yellow see-through, yeah.
Too dry for worms.
There it is after I've put it through a sieve, just to let you know how it fluffs up, which is good. That's nice. Next one, Mick, and that is the roots that I'm getting. That's a marigold that I've planted up.
There's nothing wrong with them.
That's the sort of root structure I'm getting using this compost, and you'd struggle to get better than that, I think.
Nice
Although
white thick roots.
It looks a bit dry, but and there again, that's another one in a different container. Wonderful roots, sister. And I haven't fed those at all. That's sown straight in the compost, potted up into the compost. That's my bed of shallots. Once again, that was taken a few weeks ago there, and that's how I thin them out. I normally thin out to 3 if I want to, if I'm trying to grow big ones, but if I'm just growing for stock for next year, I generally don't even split them. But I mean, I'm not doing any competitions or shows anymore, so really don't matter. But that's how I used to try and get the largest shallots. Thin them out like that.
When did you put them in the ground, Colin?
Yeah, hang on. I'll have to resort to my book. The 7th or something, hang on. I'll go by dates. Start shallots off early January. Plant out 7th of March.
Okay.
Harvest 7th of June. But I won't be doing that. I should be leaving it a little bit longer now, because we've had this rain. I want to give them time to dry out before I lift them. So we'll see. These are just a few general pictures of round the garden now. Everything's wonderful colour. It's a lovely time of year. Once again, these are a couple of weeks old. You can see areas, the path, etc. Oh, yeah.
Is that an azalea?
Sorry?
Is that orange and azalea?
Yeah, there's azaleas, tulips, and then to the left, there's another azalea to the bottom left, just above this green bush here.
Right.
Just to the right of there's 2 tulips, and there's another azalea hidden behind there. And like I say, the path needs some maintenance, etc. But we can only do so much now. We're running out of steam. And he's not much help either. Not like being comfortable, is it? That's Georgie. That's an aerial view from the garden on the right.
Looks great, Colin.
That's my new area on the right. That bench there in front of the greenhouse on the top, that's on the top surface, that's all the plants that are propagated by division, etc.
What's the make of the greenhouse?
It's a rhino.
Yeah, I thought so, yeah. I got one. Brilliant, aren't they?
Well, there's a story behind that, Mick. I didn't realise I wanted that. I come home drunk one night from the pub, went on eBay, and got up the following morning and realised I'd bought it.
Yeah, I've got one of those. I've got a 14 by 8.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's nice.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That's 12 by 8. And it did have a petition, but for some stupid reason, I took the petition out. No, I wish to have now. I hadn't. I'm going to have to try and restructure it.
Yeah. I've had mine for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, and it's like brand new.
Yeah, they are really. I mean, if anybody's contemplating a greenhouse, I'd go for these over any of the competitors because they're so well built, sturdy. That's the other side of the garden. The lawn looks a bit ropey, but this rain will pick it up. Next one, me. That's one of my favourite shrubs. It's the 9 bark. I don't know the variety, but look at that beautiful colour. And what I do is, if you leave it, it can get out of hand and get to sort of 4 or 5, 6 foot tall. Excuse me. But I tend to trim it off and keep it to about 2 foot tall, and let the new growth come, and the new growth has this wonderful golden colour. I don't know that particular variety, but I just love it. I've got 2 or 3 of those dotted about. Does anyone else grow them? Hello?
I'll tell you at the end, Colin.
I'm just thinking it's a lovely colour combination.
I thought I'd lost it.
With the Welsh poppies and the forget-me-not. and that and the colour of the foliage. Lovely combination.
Yeah,
Colin.
yeah. That's another general view. Looking back down the border. In winter, and it just looks terrible. But in the spring, everything comes to light, and it's just a mass of colour. And it's difficult to find a bare space, really. If you can see Earth, I tend to try and plant something. That's one of the best value plants. This little London Pride in the front. Wonderful ground cover, maintenance free, spreads like anything, and it just looks wonderful this time of year when it's in flower. And you've got another azalea at the back, a little fern. Blinking there.
What's the name of the one on the right, Colin?
What, this tall one?
Yeah.
Oh, blimey, yes.
Because I've got 2 of them in the garden.
Hey?
Pieris, there is. Pieris.
Pieris, yes.
Yeah, forest flame.
Yeah, they're amazing when they're in flower.
Yeah, they are wonderful. All I need, what I do with them is every spring I just bung some peat, a layer of peat under it. They like a nice peat compost.
Do you cut them back heavy or not?
I trim them after the flowering. I trim them to the shape that I want them, but not severely.
Okay.
Just to keep them intact. Next one, Mick. There are baskets and everything in the greenhouse. So busy. I've done 30. I think it's 33 baskets now. Might be 34.
Wow.
For other people, plus my own. But I'm not doing it anymore. It's too much. So,
do you sell them on? Do you, Colin?
Yeah, I do charge for them. Yeah.
How much do you charge for a big basket like that?
Well, these are the easy plant baskets, right? And I'm charging £20 for them.
Bloody hell, that's cheap considering how much you got to pay for the basket.
Well, yeah. But you know, I don't make a lot of money. What it does mean is that I essentially I'll get my plants and my baskets for myself for nothing. So next one, that's another border. These are nice here on the bottom right, heucheras. You can get them.
It's one of my favourites.
They're beautiful.
They're gorgeous, aren't they?
They are.
I've been to a garden show where they've got like a whole stand of heucheras.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so difficult, isn't it? Which ones to buy?
Plant-a-go-go.
Yeah, Plant-a-go-go. That's the one I bought off them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Well,
really,
just down the road from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, they're really good, yeah.
Now, I'll just tell you a little. I mean, these are wonderful because they're colourful all the year round. They're hardly down to about minus 15 degrees. Blinking heck. I don't know what. and they're wonderful. And I lifted one today that had been in the ground for about 4 years, and it was lifting itself up. I'll put some photos on in next time. I'll put some on, and it wanted dividing. I picked it up, this one plant, and I split it up. I've got 20 plants out of it. Potted them up. A plant to go. If you buy a plant like that, they'll charge you 8 or 9 quid. And I've got 20 plants out of one bush. So
how big is your garden, Colin?
that's if they all take. We'll see. I'll report back on that.
How big's your garden? Is it about a third of an acre?
Sorry?
How big is your garden?
I've got about a third of an acre, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
A third of an acre.
Yeah, amazing.
Did you design it all yourself, Colin?
Sorry?
Did you design it all
I did
yourself?
it all myself when we moved in.
Yes, it looks like it's been done by a professional. It looks like
we've done it all ourselves.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It looks lovely.
That's a credit to you, Colin.
Yeah, I think it's amazing, your garden, Colin.
It's just evolved over the years. Thank you. It used to be an old police house, and we moved in 45 years ago, and the wonder plant in the garden then, so it's developed. There's all my propagating plants on the top. These are where I've sort of divided and split up, etc. So I'll call it plants for nothing. And there's some underneath as well.
You'll have to stick something out on your front doorstep and sell them all.
Oh, no. I shall plant most of these around my new borders when I've finally decided the shape of them on this new area, which is to the right of this photograph. I don't know if I, there you go, and that's it. Cheers. After a long day, nothing better than to sit up the top on the patio with a nice bottle of bitter. Cheers. I think that's it, isn't it, Mick? Oh
Still
no.
going.
Oh no, it's still going, sorry.
You're excited.
I can't remember what that pink one is, flamingo something, but it comes back every year. I just give it a light trim to keep the shape, and then it produces this one. I think you've got one, Mick, haven't you?
Yeah, it's a willow.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah. And as you see, everything's, just cram everything into the border and let them take the chance. There's a hydrangea to the left of that I haven't trimmed even. Look, I've got to have a look at that. Yeah. And there's another Pyrrhus in the front. And this old apple tree to the right of the pink bush, that's on its last legs, but it keeps producing fruit. But the bough split and it's leaning, the apple tree to the right. Oh, there. I don't know what that's called. Does anyone know? But it's
Persicaria.
Sorry?
Persicaria. P-E-R.
Persicaria.
P-E-R-S.
But that, once again, that comes. Right, thanks. That comes back every year. And sometimes when it's gone over and you cut it back, the second flush, you get a second flush out of it. But it just covers the ground where it is. It's nice.
Some are different, are.
Yeah. Next one, Mick. How are we doing? That's looking back right. That's right at the top of the garden. I mean what used to be the chicken shed there. Looking back down to the right That's looking to the right hand half of the garden. The left half, the colourful part is on the left.
That's a lot of work, Colin.
Well, yeah. what gets done, and what gets left. That's But it'll break my heart when we have to finally pack it in. I don't know if I put these on before, but there's some fuchsia cuttings. So easy to take fuchsia cuttings. I recommend anybody who's a little bit daunted just have a go, because this time of year they root themselves. This one's called, the first one is called Firecracker, which is the same as Thalia, but it's a sport of Thalia. The flowers are the same, but you get this wonderful red and red coloured leaf with it. Very nice. There's some nice plants there. And that one, I think that's a he bee. It's quite massive, but the bumblebees. I took a photograph of that because it was swarming with bumblebees, but I didn't get close enough to show the bees. But there was a bee in almost every flower of it, if you know what I mean. They love it. Next one, mate. This one. Does anyone know why it's going like this at the bottom? It does it every year. Red hot poker. They come up every year. They start, and then I just lose the bottom bits like that.
I think that's how they designed to grow, Colin. They die from the bottom upwards.
Well, is that right? Well, they haven't put on a very good show. I mean, it starts almost immediately. They come into flower, if you know what I mean. They're not very good value for money.
Just like lupins and foxgloves. They flower at the bottom first, then they pack in and work their way up the stem.
I suppose if you think about it logically, with things like that and foxgloves and lupins, like Andy said, if they opened all the flowers up at once and then they all died off at once, you've got a shorter flowering period, haven't you? Yeah. So there's less chance they'll get bees to pollinate them and things like that. So if they open a few bits and bobs at a time, starting at the bottom, and they die off after they've been pollinated or something, and then the next lot come, gives them a longer flowering period, and the bees get more chance to have a go at them.
Yeah, it's just that they really do look a bit tatty when they start dying off, don't they? They're not my favourite plant, to be honest.
Could they be past the sell-by date?
Oh yes, I think so. They could be on the way.
Get a new one. I got us some good news going now.
Yeah.
I've got to go. Bye.
See you, Nick. Any more, Mick?
Yeah.
What's it? Oh, where'd you get that from?
He's in the pub.
That was off Crime Watch. I'm still looking for you.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Is that Banks's beer?
Hey?
Is that Banks's?
No, that's a pint of.
No, that one there. That ain't proper beer. This one here, that's Banks's.
Oh, that could be Banksy. Yeah, they've got Banksy Malt, Banksy Bitter. Or did have. It's under new management now. Yeah. That's going back 2 or 3 years, actually. More than that. I don't know where you got that from, Mick. Stuart. I didn't put that on.
I know.
Facebook.
Right, anybody got any questions for Colin in his back garden?
What, mate, was that a greenhouse, Colin? Was it rhino, did you say?
Rhino, yes.
Is it a green one? Like so it's coloured?
It is.
And does
Yes,
it keep the
green-
colour? Does it
Green
flake off?
aluminium, no, it's perfect. And the advantage with the rhinos is that you've got the extra strong glass that comes in one panel.
Okay.
And I was a sort of 4. I don't know if that 4 might be 5 foot.
Yeah.
You know, mind you, they're expensive, but they don't break.
No.
Or touch wood, I've never broken one as yet.
My greenhouse
on
has halls, and it's only was about 600-700, but it's I've had it like 3 years now, and it's been brilliant.
What, a rhino?
No, a halls.
Oh, right.
And to be honest, I can't fault it. It's been brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, both mine are halls, but I'm after a new one, so I'm just looking round.
Well, my advice, Scott, is to go online and buy second hand, because I didn't pay more than £500 for that. In fact, I think I only paid just over £400.
Yeah.
And then it cost me to move it, but that was bought on eBay.
And it cost him 10, Scott, and it cost him 10 quid in pints of beer before he had it.
Yeah.
A bit more than that, mate.
An absolute bargain, that is.
It was.
Yeah.
You
can pick up
What you were doing when you were half K-Lide then? You must have known what you were doing.
Well, I thought, greenhouses are really nice, and I've always liked a rhino, and I put a bid in, and and it was only 15 mile away as well. It's even better.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks,
Colin.
I've stopped looking. I've stopped looking online now when I come home.
Especially when you've had a beer.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Colin, you don't want to let Amazon know you're on about eBay. I'll throw you out of a job.
Yeah.
Supposed to be the Amazon kid.
The Amazon
Any more
kid.
questions for Colin? Cheers for that, then, Carl.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Cheers,
Good
Ross.
man. Right, quick update on my little taters, my shards. These have come through now, all ready for next Thursday if they'll bring them by. I'll probably let them do 50p a ferret. I watched a film yesterday, and it's called yesterday. I don't know if anybody seen it.
Brilliant.
Basically, it's about the Beatles songs, which I love anyway. But I thought it was a Boston film. Our mate was in it. I forget his name. And that was yesterday morning. Rosie found a new friend. He's like 6 months old, and he run Rosie ragged.
Oh.
Like a milligram. Lidl this morning. Yes. That was a good price. How much was my hose? 15 quid. And I had to get one of these for when I take my projector, laptop, and my talks. I have to have an extension lead. It's surprising how many venues have a plug socket miles away from the screen. So this is 3 times as long as my other one. So I'll put that in.
Okay.
Well, yes.
Just be careful with that flexible hose. If you're going around any corners of any buildings, they tend to tear on the corners of brickwork.
Oh, no, luckily I've only got one run, top to bottom.
It's all right then. Should
Pick
be
your point though. Yeah, hold on now, because I use my raised bed, didn't I? Oh, good point, good point.
Another danger with the Mickey's. Another danger is going anywhere near roses, because the thorns will go and you'll get leaks.
Oh,
I've had that happen.
yeah. Because everything's covered up because of the hound, so we won't get near them. But they got to stop tap on and all. Plus me all-weather tape, that was chipping up. Had me 2 of them for a revamp my tops. And then a couple of these in as well, bamboos. I don't know where they were going. I'll look these up, they're non-invasive, would have a 3 metre height and a spread of 1.5. So once they do start putting a bit of meat on, but I'll put them on the back burner there, on the legs, just to show you where I'm putting them. until the Alstrom area. Until going here. Moving. But as soon as them get a bit of meat on, then I'll clear them off. But at the moment, it's just to fill that gap at the back.
That's a bit lovely.
And I also noticed these down little. Now, I reckon I've got these.
Bananas, Mick.
What?
Bananas.
There's no labels on, nothing.
Them on the side of the pot. I bought 4 of them Thursday.
Yeah.
Bananas. Yeah, and dwarf bananas.
Right.
Them £2.50 a pot.
Oh, no reprice on them.
I had 4 of them.
Where's that from?
Lidl.
Little.
And dwarf mushes. I've got 4 of them in my tunnel.
And that they will they'd be okay outside. They're not housebound.
This time of year, they're okay, but come before the first frost, September, October, bring them in.
I've lost connection.
Bring them in about October.
Well, the missus paid to bring him in the house, Colin?
You can bring him in the house. You can grow him in the house.
No, you can. Will his missus allow him?
Oh, that's the thing, Gate.
You've got
he's probably impicked.
I don't have to ask permission. I do as I'm told, and if it's not right, they're moved.
Oh dear.
I can't find it.
Under the thumb
Find
then.
it the next day.
£2.50, I think.
Paul, I don't know how you'll get away with it.
I don't know, nothing.
Right, checking the hound this morning. That's how much rain we had during the night. It was a proper downpour, which means the good point is the garden's got a good watering. And obviously it rained water, which does the garden good. But it's supposed to be Jubilee house party crap. Right, that's it, people.
That's great, thank you, Mick.
Hope you're
Yeah, when you're doing my pictures, I'll send you.
If I put everybody's on, we'd be on for another hour and a half.
Oh, I know that. Wait, shall I do it next week or week after?
Do it next
Or
week.
I can send you new ones if you want.
Earlier the better. Or it's no
I'll
good.
send you new ones. I'll send new ones because they're like a week and a half old anyway.
Thank you.
Mick, those half, we got your strawberries in the half baskets. Do they dry out? Do they dry out very, very quickly?
Not really. The sun's only on them 2.5 hours, 3 hours on the morning. But I check them. Well, I will check them daily, obviously now. But now I've had half baskets before.
Yeah, they're not very big, are they?
Sorry?
They're not very big.
No.
So the way I look at it, the bigger the basket, the more stable it is.
Yeah. I mean, they're not mini baskets.
Yeah.
They're proper half-side baskets, which I have had a hour. No, but also keep my eye on them because obviously I want to look after the strawberries because I want them. Yeah. Oh, Kathy, what you done? You fell off a ladder painting the house.
Hey?
What?
Oh, I thought you were going to wash it around your neck.
What's that? Oh, no, it's gone cold, isn't it?
Yeah, I got my
Jumper on. My woolly jumper back out.
It's cold.
Yeah.
I thought it was your neck.
Oh, you got a neck brace on.
Yeah, it's like a neck brace. Yeah, no, it's keeping me warm.
I thought, am I going to embarrass her asking her?
I was too polite to ask. I thought it was a neck brace.
Oh, it's like the embarrassment's warmed me up now, isn't it?
Sorry.
I got my jumper on today, first time for Youngs.
Jumper? I tell you what.
Shorts have gone in the wash.
No way. Mine's still on. T-shirt today.
You know what, Mick? I've got some lupins in the garden. I mean, a week or so back, about a week ago, I took some photographs of them. Absolutely superb, the lupins are.
Yeah.
But now, the bottom part of them are going to seed already. I've actually got seed pods on my lupins already. The season's moving along rapidly here.
Take a photo, send him in next week, and Colin won't be suppressed then because he's somebody else in the same predicament.
On my
Facebook page, I put them on a week ago. What the difference a week makes. It's couldn't believe it.
Paul, you in the toilet?
No. They me.
Good, Bennett.
They me.
Sorry, that was me.
Easy. It's a boy.
Doing a bit of tidying up in the garden while I'm watching.
Yeah, we heard that, Scott.
I was emptying a bucket, honest. Trying to get my jobs done before I have to go back to work tomorrow.
Well, that's it. You still got daylight.
Have a wander around before.
Yeah.
I'll see you all next week, folks. I'm
Yeah.
off.
See you, Colin. Cracking talk.
See ya.
Cracking talk, Colin.
Thanks again, Mick. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Scott, mate.
Cheers.
See you then, people.
See you guys.
See you, Mick. Bye now.
Cheers,
See you,
all.
mate. Ta-ra, mate.
See you all.
Ta-ra.
See you, Anne.
Ta-ra, bye.